Welcome to Punky's World. We're gonna have a little chit chat. As you can see, I did my makeup just for the heck of it. I had planned on an unboxing today, but nothing came in. So, I am going to sit down and talk with you. As I mentioned yesterday, I talked to my doctor. I was very honest with him. The pharmacy called, so my medicine is ready. Thank goodness. I had more calls this morning from unknown caller, unknown caller, unknown caller. I am going to turn my freaking phone to rest mode or whatever it's called. I am so tired of those calls all morning. Starting from like 7:30, 8 o'clock. So, I also do want to go over this, get some notes and talk to you guys about it. This is that main, it looks like a key. I love that. And I like that it has a little hole in it that you can like attach it to something. From History Books 24. I do want to, like I said, it looks like a key. I love that. Go over this over the weekend, make some notes, and do a video Monday before I leave. We're going to do a skincare video, and we're going to do that video Monday before I leave. I will try to get them both up before I go, so there'll only be 2 videos Monday. And nothing for Kid Missing until April. Today was the last day. So go check that video out. It's a Dough Friday. I'm trying to figure out a way to help my aunt. And I'm not sure why, but it's not working. I gotta go unlock my door. I am very lucky to have the help that I have, and I wish that my aunt had as good a help as I have. Sorry, my brain is everywhere. I am going to try to help my aunt. Like I said, I'm not sure. Maybe Diane will switch cars with Tony Lee so that Auntie can come. I know that was her plan before for my aunt, so um I'm trying to think. Oh, the other video that we're doing today is I'm gonna go through my Judy Blume collection with you. We'll do that video in my bedroom. Be easier. Um, Sort of talk about Judy Blume and my um, memories of her collection, stuff like that. Um, so yeah, that'll be fun. I just wanted to just chat with you. Basically, it's a a daily journal. I am going through a lot, but I'm also grateful to have the Lord here. Um, and my doctor explained that when someone falls, they suffer delirium or confusion, and that can precipitate dementia, and you'll never go back to their baseline. So, and I looked it up, and he's exactly right. It was recently in the Journal of the American Medical Association. So, that they were starting to see, because they knew falls were more common with dementia, but they didn't realize that a fall before dementia is also linked to the development of dementia. It's a recent finding. So obviously he keeps up, you know. Um, so I'm glad, you know. I feel kind of, it was kind of overwhelming to have everything happen at once. And I do appreciate him listening to me and the ease at which I can be completely honest with him. You know, he asks you all those psychological questions and stuff, and I was able to be completely honest with him. And my mother always said, you can't get the help you need unless you're honest about what you need. And having that in my head was helpful. Now, I'm not sponsored by BetterHelp or anything like that. I'm just not. Most people can't afford it. I'm sorry. It's very, very expensive. Um, and today you can get help from home through your insurance. So, which I do. But this was a little more than I could handle on my own and with my counseling. So, um, and like I had said in the other video, he's not very happy with how gastro is treating me and the fact that liver dumped me on him completely. Hepatology, liver, dumped me on him completely. It used to be that the gastroenterologist took care of gastro and hepatology because the liver, guess what? is part of the digestive system. So it's the same doctor. And if you have a gastroenterologist, a lot of times you're going to be a gastroenterologist / hepatologist. Because again, it's all part of the digestive system. But because they're nurse practitioners, they're separate. And he wasn't happy they keep giving me to a different person, that they're not seeing me more than once a year, which they should be seeing me every 6 months, that I should be getting my blood work every 3 months. And I told him that. I said, I know I need to be getting blood work every 3 months. And every other time I get it, every 3 months. And then every second time I get the blood work, so every 6 months, I'm supposed to be getting a tumor marker. Because cirrhosis puts me at slightly higher risk for liver cancer. I'm also supposed to be getting a liver ultrasound every few months. And he said, well, I'm ordering both. So next week while I'm in recovery, I'm going to walk down and get my blood work. And, oopsie. Unless the one in Sutton is open longer, and I can have Diane take me for it. I'll have to find out. Because there is a lab in Sutton right down the street from the doctor's office. I've actually been there once. Because it is literally right down the street. It's in a plaza. Anyway. And I'll go to Whitensville to get the ultrasound. He also wants me to have a colonoscopy, which is going to be a balancing act, because not only do I have a whole bunch of stuff coming up, but it's a matter of having someone to be with me. Now, they did give me the option in Worcester to stay in the hospital overnight. Which I guess is an option, but not one he brought up. And then there's still the problem of waiting for a ride until the middle of the afternoon. But he wants to make sure that there are no tumors, no large polyps, no fissures on the inside, and to check the hemorrhoids to make sure to see what the hemorrhoids look like on the inside. All of those things, and I understand that. And I told him, I said, I'd rather do that than have teeth pulled. Don't get me wrong. The worst part to me is the prep, because it just feels like fire going over your butt when you have hemorrhoids. I mean, you can't, I mean, we're adults here. We're not laughing at that word, you know? I'm saying that to you guys. It just is. And, you know, other than the prep, colonoscopy is easy. They put the needle, they put the IV in your arm. Good night. You turn over on your side with your little buns exposed. And you go to sleep. I don't want to, not only do I not want to stay in the hospital, because who wants to stay in the hospital? But I also don't want to take a bed from somebody who really needs it. You know? So for me, so I just have to figure out how I'm going to go about doing it. I just don't know. I'll figure it out. But, you know, because I do know it's important. And I do know that even before liver dropped me, I had to fight to get my blood work and my ultrasound. That was before my mother died. That was when Paul, actually it might have been right after, because it was when Paul, the gentleman that lived in this apartment, was dying of metastatic liver cancer. And I knew my risk. And it scared me. And I called and I got the order. I shouldn't have to fight for it every time. And he's very unhappy. He's like, they should be seeing you every 6 months, not once a year. I said, well, I had an appointment last September or October. And they changed it to this June after complaining at me for not seeing them. They changed the appointment a full 6 months or something because she left the practice. Yet they'd flip out if I did that. And he agreed. So that's where I'm at. I have a good doctor, primary care doctor, who is going to look into switching practices for me. He said, go to your last appointment, then we'll deal with it. See how that goes. He said, I don't like how they're doing it. He said, I said, well, last year they did say I didn't need the colonoscopy. He said, it's been 8 years. 10 years is not acceptable for you with your risk because you have Crohn's. He said, that would be acceptable for somebody of average risk. He said, you should be having them every 3 years. Well, for a while I had them every freaking year. When I was going to Bottrop in Milford, I was having them every freaking year. So I said, but last year they told me not to worry about it, and we'd talk about it this year. I mean, you could see the steam coming out of his ears. He's so nice, but he looked like anger in Disney's Inside Out, just like coming out of his ears, because he didn't like the way his patient is being treated. So that's good. I do appreciate that very much. And he's taking care of my liver at this point. And he's more than a little bit frustrated about that too, I'm sure. I said, that wasn't my fault. Because I was willing to make an appointment with them. I needed transportation. I solved my transportation problem. I take the elder bus. I said, I can't believe that they haven't written to you since 2022. I saw them last year. Took the elder bus, and I've only been taking the elder bus for a year. And during the pandemic, I saw liver 2 or 3 times and gastro a couple of times. It was after all that and after my mother died that I got back in with elder bus. Matter of fact, it wasn't even... It was after... Okay. Because what do you call it? Elder Services, which also deals with the disabled, had a grant for transportation. And the company was absolutely wonderful. And I was transported by them a couple of times. And actually several times. And I'm trying to remember if I took Elderbus or them to that last appointment. Because it certainly wasn't in 2022. It was last year, last summer. Maybe even spring, because the next appointment was either September or October. So it must have been in the spring, because it must have been a 6-month appointment. And I said, well, I see them about once a year. He said, no, you need to see them every 6 months. And you need to be having your colonoscopies every 3 years. Yeah, and they told me 5 years for the endoscopes, for the endoscopies. So, but like I said, he's anger from inside out with like flames and steam and yeah, wasn't good. I know I've talked to you way too much, but and he didn't act like that toward me. You could just tell looking at the notes that he was given and everything that yikes. And given that I've been having symptoms from my Crohn's, it needs to be looked at, and I understand. You know, it used to be the IV for me was the worst part. Not really anymore. They do the best they can. Milford was terrible. They wanted to put the IV in my frickin' foot. Generally, the anesthetist can get my IV without a problem. So, and this doctor that I'm going to see Monday for surgery is an anesthetist, so it shouldn't be a problem getting my IV. It has to be done in this arm because this one's off limits. So, God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will see you for our Judy Bloom video. Bye, guys.